Before we start with this afternoon program, I want to mark two transitions that are happening in the Jewish philanthropic world. First, this past year, Sandy Cardin stepped down as president of the Charles and Lynn Schusterman Family Foundation. For 25 years, Sandy has been a giant of our field. To me personally, Sandy has been a mentor, a friend, a supporter, and Sandy's work in the Jewish community touched thousands of lives, and his impact can be seen far and wide in many programs that are changing Jewish life. So I want to ask you all to give a round of applause to our dear Sandy. Sandy, where are you? He's hiding. He's there. Thank you, Sandy, for all you've done. And second, a very important milestone. By the end of the year, the Avichai Foundation will finish its planned spend down. They have documented that spend down so that the entire field can learn from their process. After 35 years of philanthropy, Avichai closes its door, and I want to say on behalf of the whole JFN community that Avichai leaves the field in triumph. Avichai has been an exemplar for all of us of what effective and strategic philanthropy is. And in addition to touching countless of lives with their giving, Avichai has been instrumental in making JFN what it is today. For example, the first matching grant that JFN did was done at the urging of Avichai. Our first Green Books, Guides for Giving, was done in partnership with Avichai and was Avichai's idea. And professionals and trustees of the foundation served in our board, serve as partners and mentors to our staff, and they are always generous with their wisdom and their experience. And now, to speak for a few minutes about this incredible legacy, please welcome one of those remarkable leaders. She's a venture philanthropist, of course, a former JFN board member, chair of the Avichai Foundation, and also sits in the board of the Tikva Fund and Keren Keshet. All these foundations were established with the estate of her late husband, Mem Bernstein. In June, she will receive an honorary degree from my alma mater, the Hebrew University of Jerusalem. Please welcome Mem Bernstein to the stage.
Thank you, Andres. It is truly an honor to be here. I want to thank the JFN staff and leadership, past and present. Your optimism, your creativity, and your guidance has inspired and enriched us all. Speaking to you here in San Francisco as Avichai approaches the end of its grant-making is bittersweet. Though I was born in the Bronx and now consider Jerusalem my home, I raised my family here in the Bay Area, and all three of my children, the Thelsons, the Dryans, and the Smorgans, are raising their families here. And here is where my philanthropic journey began, with my first husband, Hal Dryan. I guess you might say I found my heart in San Francisco, or at least an important part of it. If you will allow me, I would like to begin with an idea that lives at the core of everything else I am about to say. A tree is only as strong as its roots. The deeper they are and the more they extend into the soil that surrounds and nourishes them, the more the tree can withstand, adapt, endure, and expand. Buffeted by winds, it sways and it yields, and yet it stays rooted. We as Jews are the same. We can adapt and persevere, endure and thrive, but only when we have a firm and deep grasp of our roots. I was fortunate. My parents instilled in me a sense of the beauty of Judaism, a commitment to tradition, and a love for family, which I largely learned from the way my parents lived and from the people who surrounded me. So it was only natural that I wanted my children and every Jewish child to have access to a deeply rooted Jewish life. I wanted them to know their roots, and I wanted those roots to be strong, deep, and nourishing. As you may know, research has demonstrated that after the home, day school education is the best predictor of adult Jewish engagement. Over time, I came to realize that what made Jewish day school education so successful was that by design, it is an intensive and immersive education. And it is that intensity and immersion that increases and creates those deep and strong roots. Rootedness does not happen by chance. It is nurtured by deepening knowledge, personal intention, a sense of connectedness, and careful cultivation. In essence, the Avichai's overarching mission was about fostering and cultivating. For the past 35 years, Avichai has been planting trees of Jewish education, culture, practice, and peoplehood in North America, in Israel, and in the former Soviet Union. We have invested over $1.2 billion to ensure that those trees have strong, expansive, deep roots. In Israel, we focused our work on strengthening the burgeoning field of Israeli Jewish renewal with the study of Jewish text. In the former Soviet Union, we helped fuel a Jewish academic and cultural renaissance intended to reintroduce Russia's Jews to their heritage and birthright. And here in North America, we have focused our efforts on catalyzing what we think of as the energizing nucleus of Judaism's next generation. To that end, we have invested heavily in the most intensive and immersive educational experiences that exist today: Jewish day schools and Jewish overnight summer camps. The big question we as funders continually need to be asking ourselves is, what does success look like for a foundation that decides to bring all or most of its operations to a close? That question is even more urgent because we will be passing the baton to others long before the job is finished, for it is never finished. A few months ago, I was invited by Beit HaFutzot for a brainstorming meeting. I went. I knew some of the people at the meeting, but when the participants were broken into smaller groups, I only knew one person in my group. As the participants in my randomly assigned group introduced themselves, each one mentioned, unbeknownst to them, having participated in a program that was funded by Avichai, Keren Keshet, or Tikva. What I found impressive was not the contribution that we had made to them. What was so inspiring is what was the contribution they were now making to the future of the Jewish people. Ralph Waldo Emerson wrote that the creation of 1,000 forests is in one acorn. These people, these leaders, were acorns that we had helped nurture to become the trees of thousands of the forests of the Jewish people. And it was so clear to me, hearing them talk, debate, and dream, that their roots were deep and strong. I am certain that you can imagine, for a foundation about to sunset, there is nothing more powerful than seeing our work unfold in the ways that we had hoped for. To me, that is success. These people, they are our legacy. They will lead the Jewish community in the values we hold dear and in the knowledge, the Jewish knowledge, commitments, and connections we have worked to embed in all of our work. If I may take the liberty of amending Rabbi Tarfon's famous dictum from Ethics of the Fathers, you're not expected to complete the task, but you should ensure that there are others who will continue to work on it. As I look around this room, I see so many friends and colleagues who share our values and perspectives and dreams for the future. When we started our work, there were far fewer of you. Today, we have partners and allies who cross geographies, who have inspired us and who now inspire others. That inspiration is reason enough to be confident that our shared work will continue to thrive and to adapt to the ever-changing, evolving needs of the Jewish people. It is with that confidence and with overwhelming gratitude that I close. I thank you to all of you for your commitments on behalf of the Jewish people. Thank you to our partners for sharing our vision and our values for the future Jewish community, carrying that work forward. In Genesis, Joseph asks his brother, Ha'od Avichai, does my father still live? As I look around this room, it's plain to me that the answer is yes. It will continue because of all of you. Thank you.